51 came about as the idea that Area 51 in reality is not the base in the desert housing aliens and UFOs. It is, in fact, a secret facility in Missouri that houses cryptids and supernatural forces and genetic experiments gone wrong. And, so there's two completely separate ideas for what Area 51 is.
Yes. And is this program at all on this military base named with 51 or any kind of a connection with Area 51 at all?
There is no name to the program. It is one of those that is just completely quiet. There's no official name. There's no official title. It's just the agency, the program, the facility, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's kind of a mysterious title. I kind of like that. So each book starts with the title 51, and then you have kind of almost a subtitle along with them, right? The beginning is the first one.
Right. And 51, The Storm, is the second one.
Wow.
51, Monsters, is the third. 51, Secrets, is book 4, which this week. And 51, Damages, is the fifth and final book in the series.
Wow. And basically you come up with those kinds of names, as you are writing the books, but you not written Damages yet? So you've just kind of thought of the title ahead of time?
It is, the entire series is complete. I finished the series, I wrote the series from September of 2016 to August of 2017. I wrote a 5-book series in 11 months.
Oh my goodness. And that was...
and it's been sitting on my computer.
Yeah. And the first book you mentioned was written very fast. Was that something that you did all day long, all night long? How did you create a book in a short 3-week period?
It was a matter of when I was awake and I didn't feel like I was doing anything, so I needed to do something. And sitting and writing the book gave me that thing to do.
Yeah. Yeah, that's quite a grueling schedule to be able to sit there and do that. Was this something that was difficult for you to do, even with your issues with the pain as well? I know it'd be tough for me to sit that long.
It wasn't, because I write at the same pace that most people speak or read. So
wow.
It goes really fast when I start. I actually wrote the first book of the prequel series last month.
Oh, yes. So now you are concentrating on an entire prequel series. Is that right?
Yes.
And can you go ahead?
This will give the backstory of Lindsay and Wren and 3 of the deputies before they came to work at the sheriff's department together after she took over as sheriff.
Oh, interesting. So in other words, some of these characters knew each other when they were younger, for instance?
Lindsay Bob Smith and Bob Littlejohn and Max Cartwright all worked together in law enforcement in the same area. So they've known each other for many, many years prior to her taking over as sheriff.
Interesting.
And that's part of what makes it interesting within the sheriff's department, because they do know each other and can play off of the strengths and weaknesses that they each have and things like that.
Yeah. Matter of fact, it's interesting. You wrote two Bobs in as characters, right? I think there was a story
did.
behind that. Tell us why you decided to do the my other brother Daryl kind of thing in your book.
That's exactly it. Named Larry, this is my brother Daryl, and my other brother Daryl. Yes. I remember that show very well. It was one of my favorites.
Yes, there was, for the folks out that don't know, this was the old Bob Newhart show. And it was a great comedy show because Bob Newhart is a fantastic comedian, but I think it was set up in the Northeast, someplace like Maine or Massachusetts, and he had a cabin kind of lodge, and these two guys were working for him named Daryl, and the other guy would be Daryl, and he'd introduce him as his other brother Daryl. I never figured that out, but I thought it was hilarious.
Right. Well, I've worked in several departments where we have multiple officers with the same first name.
Ah, there you go.
Almost without fail, it has been Big and Little whoever. So I had to put that in where you have Little Bob and Big Bob. It had to go in there somewhere.
Yeah, I think that's even better than Billy Bob, or those kinds of things. So, very good. Matter of fact, as you write these novels and your stories, do you have in the back of your mind the idea of who you might want to play these characters, or the kind of actor or the look that you're looking for?
I don't. And that's one thing when you read the books, you look that I give very vague physical descriptions of people. Because I have read amazing books, but they give such detailed physical descriptions of the characters that it kind of loses me. I can't relate to that person.
Yeah.
They're being described. So I just kind of give a very vague description, and that way everybody can fill in with, I know this guy. Yeah, that's my neighbor. Or, oh, I went to school with that woman. I know who that is. So they can kind of relate and put in who they feel is right for that.
Yeah, that's that's what that is I believe that's respecting your readership, allowing them to use their own imaginations and the theater in their minds to develop your characters. And obviously, every person that reads your books have a different idea in the back of their brain what exactly the story looks like in their head, I would imagine.
Right. And I've had a couple of people contact me about being like, I don't know if you would work or not, because I don't know what the characters look like. Even myself, I'm kind of like, I don't know, maybe. Well, I'll think about it. So that's why the first series, there's actually no people on any of the covers.
Yes, right. Which is kind of ominous in itself, given the fact that you're dealing with biological experiments going bad, right?
Yes.
And, your story, your background story of this military base and these biological experiments almost remind me of a Dulce, New Mexico kind of theme in the background, where everyone has kind of heard about those stories of potential underground bases with aliens or hybrids or biological programs going on. Had you known about the Dulce, New Mexico stories when you started the project?
I have, and I've heard about even of there being a secret underground. The entire on Fort Leonard Wood, there's a big secret underground secondary base.
Oh,
there's not, but there's a claim out there. I actually found it online a few months ago that I didn't even know existed. But it's like, okay. I grew up watching the different shows about the conspiracy theories and about the different secret installations and things like that. So I'm sure that was kind of in the back of my mind, but I wasn't thinking, oh, I'm going to base it on this specific base or, this specific topic.
Yeah. No, but you've been very skillful in weaving in those ideas of secret military bases, potentially underground, facilities, and the whole cryptid idea. I don't know if it's specifically like a Bigfoot, as far as the monsters go, but I would imagine you've got more than one monster in this series.
There are around 35 different ones mentioned or encountered in the 5-book series.
Oh my goodness!
And,
so,
and a creature, actually, an entire group of them is encountered often. I don't want to say often in each book, but they are at least mentioned in each book. There are encounters in each book with them, and one of them is very important. He plays a very important role by the time everything is over.
Oh, interesting. Now, is this the kind of antagonist or antagonists, plural, that you throw in there that you flesh out throughout the book series and give them a little bit more of a sympathetic character, or are they all just, crazy and out to kill people?
It depends. Some of them are just murderous. If they see a person, they will do their best to kill it. I mean, that's what they do. That's why they were being held captive on the base. That was the sole purpose, was to protect the population from those creatures. There are others that are in the book that are completely harmless, that it's a matter of more protecting them than the people around them.
Oh, interesting. So you've got a wide range of these monster characters that you get to describe and go crazy with in your own imagination, it sounds like, and put down on paper. Right. I even came up with a poltergeist that is actually a more of a hive type entity, where if you only have one, it can move a pencil, but if you have a dozen, they can throw things across the room. Oh, now that is a very interesting thought to begin with, because maybe that's something that we should be thinking about when it comes to, kinetic activity and poltergeist. Maybe there takes a group of them to do something. That where did you come up with that idea of the hive poltergeist? I honestly have no idea. I mean, I might have been watching something on Discovery Channel about bees and thought, oh, a hive, that's a good idea. And that's where it came from. I really don't remember where it came from. Yes. Well, I think that's quite creative. That's wonderful. Now, throughout the the book series, can we expect to